You can't steal what was already stolen, or rather, an homage. I don't know literary words, so I just had to Google whether or not I was using that word correctly. I think that I am. An homage is something that is written as an act of respect to prior work. Dr. King has many quotes that are quoted in lots of places, but one that I don't hear quoted very often is this one from his speech, "Where do we go from here?" In the video that this is commented on, I never said Nietzsche. I said nihilism a lot, and people commented Nietzsche when given the opportunity. In 1967, Dr. King publicly spoke about Nietzsche in Atlanta, Georgia. I think sometimes we forget that he was a doctor, he had a freaking PhD, but he reminds us on page 186 of this book. Let me read it to you. Now, a lot of us are preachers, and a lot of us have our moral convictions and concerns, and so often we have problems with power. There is nothing wrong with power if power is used correctly. You see, what happened is that some of our philosophers got off base, and one of the greatest problems of history is that the concepts of love and power have usually been contrasted as opposites, polar opposites, so that love is identified with a resignation of power, and power with a denial of love. So before I keep reading, King is saying that people think of power versus love. You have to pick one or the other, but you can't have both. That's what people think. That's not what he thinks. Let's keep reading. It was this misinterpretation that caused the philosopher Nietzsche, who was a philosopher of the will to power, to reject the Christian concept of love. It was this same misinterpretation which induced Christian theologians to reject Nietzsche's philosophy of the will to power in the name of the Christian idea of love. Sorry to keep interrupting. If you don't have a philosophy degree, this might sound like a little, whoa, what did he just say? One of the reasons the King is such an amazing speaker is that after he says something really dense, he follows it up with an easily comprehensible way. I learned that from Nerdwriter and also from reading him a lot. Now, we have got to get this thing right. What is needed is a realization that power without love is reckless and abusive, and that love without power is sentimental and anemic. So while he never says the phrase moral anemia, that's my spin on it. Every time I use the word anemia, it's an homage to what I learned from Dr. King in 1967. Happy reading.
It was this misinterpretation that caused the philosopher Nietzsche, who is the philosopher of the will to power, to reject the Christian concept of love. It was the same misinterpretation which induced Christian theologians to reject Nietzsche's philosophy of the will to power in the name of the Christian idea of love. Now, we got to get this thing right. What is needed is a realization that power without love is reckless and abusive, and that love without power is sentimental and anemic. Power at its best.